Cattell dominated at Carolina Motorsports Park, a track very similar in layout. What race did he dominate in? Race 2. At pole, drove away. We'll see if he can do the same thing here in this one, Mike.
It's possible. I want to see Jim Smith too. I want to see what he's able to do. Jumping back into the S2000 there in 9th place. That's a great starting position for him.
Heard that the 155 Michael Pagano is nursing a misfire here as well. We'll see if he can get the job done regardless. Green flag in the air. Eibach GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. Race number 2 underway. The field storms down towards 1. Look at Smedegard on the outside trying to make it stick. If he can keep overlap here, Mike, he might steal the lead away.
It's going to be tough. That transition to 3 is going to be rough here.
Yeah, back to turn 3. They're still side by side. Oh! Look at this. That was a great fight there by Smedegard, but Cattell is going to have the top spot. Much cleaner that time through turn 3, but Smedegard has to give it up into turn 4. Look who's third.
Yeah.
It's Matan Rosenberg, the championship leader.
Being able to sneak up is... There's quite a big gap between him and Marchev now.
Yeah, I wonder if Marchev had a slip-up or something into turn 4, because you see that differential. He's stacking up Matt Waldbaum and Lita Chin, and then there's Louis Chatroop and Ayrton Grimm back there, who's had a better weekend in the GLTC car than he has in the Rush car so far. Jim Smith in the red S2000 up the inside of Chatroop. Wow. Really late on the brakes there, trying to woe it all down.
Lou really late on the brakes. That was a gutsy play. I love seeing it. Him and Jim are really giving Ayrton quite a lot of trouble there in the rearview mirror.
And look, on the back straightaway now, Eric Cattell running away from the 2,800-pound GT86.2, and he calls that. And then championship leader Matan Rosenberg in that 484 Corvette. And he's close to Eric Cattell. His car might come in a little sooner than Eric's. A little bit more weight, easier to generate tire temp. Look at this schmozzle down into turn 11. That was dicey.
Great racing throughout the pack. Yeah, seeing 3 cars up in this battle is pretty exciting here too. That could really change the dynamic of the battle between 1 and 2 if Rosenberg's up in there giving him heck as well. Because you go to make a pass, and if you've got to commit to it and then have to bail out, that leaves you wide open.
This is high up as Matan Rosenberg has run since Road America in July. Struggled a lot at Lime Rock Park, and yesterday and earlier today's race, was in the mix in the top 5, but never really battled for the lead. But as long as these two keep racing like this, and they are stealing the show, then Rosenberg will be able to keep tucked up to their rear bumpers here.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, with Andy putting all that pressure on Cattell's back bumper now. Andy's rear tires fell off towards the end of the last race, and Cattell's didn't seem to do the same thing. And I wonder if that's just the balance issue, or if Andy's just slinging it a little bit harder and they're just not lasting as long.
Not sure, but they seem pretty well matched. Again, front engine front drive on the Honda, front engine rear drive on the GT86 in second place. Much better run for Andy leaving the corner. And the other thing is he might have a little bit more torque in that FA24. Of course, Eric Cattell's car is detuned a little bit, but so would Andy's.
Look at him peeking. Just want to remind you that I'm in your mirrors. I'm here, just in case you make that mistake.
Oh, look at all the curve that Andy hammered. And Matan Rosenberg, same story. Marchev, Matt Waldbaum, see him kick the rear end out there, hammering the curbing. And one of the topics of the weekend is the points for the weekend title. Eric Cattell, 51 points as they've earned, but as they cross the line with this reshuffling of the deck here, see if anyone's gained or earned anything this lap around. I don't think so, but look at Rosenberg. 34 points to Marchev's 36. If you were to pass for second, that would flip. Yep. Cattell, 25 points earned right now if the race were to finish just like this, on top of the 26 that he had for the third in qualifying, and then the race 1 win. So telling an interesting story as we make our way through the weekend. And putting a little distance now back to Smedegard.
Yeah, half-second gap is about as big as we've seen until the last couple of laps in the first race here.
Yeah, and they're navigate now on the backside of the course. Probably keep one eye on those guys and maybe one eye on the rest of the field, because I have a hunch that Cattell is going to start to stretch this gap out. See it now about 10 car lengths, but look at the best lap delta. Andy's only 48 thousandths slower as far as their best lap. But you see the purple stripe on Cattell's name. That's because he is the fastest car on the road.
Well, getting a little sideways there. Definitely using all of the weight transfer to get through patience. Looks like the lap times are a little bit slower. Wondering if the track is heating up and slowing down a little bit. Really close that gap up into turn 11 there.
Yeah, again, I think for Andy, Cattell's car, I think, is a little bit quicker, but he's going to struggle to find an advantage on Cattell unless Eric makes a mistake. So again, keep one eye on that. But there's Jake Jornstad in the battle a bit deeper in the field. Robbie Veerhout, and then Matt Beck in the number 67. That's that 240 SX, the red car in trail. Veerhout we see on occasion here in some of the Midwestern events in that blue 1010s Podcast 350Z.
Look at Jornstad. He's still slinging it through there. It takes a lot of courage when you have an incident to come back out on track and just keep tossing the car. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, I don't think he hit that. Ooh, big slide there for Matt Beck. I don't think he hit that hard, but again, to your point, that's a scary spot to go off the road, and to have the confidence to jump right back in it and go and battle everybody. Impressive drive. For those that missed race 1, got kind of tangled up there on the opening lap and spun in $1 million corner, and thankfully it was probably only a couple dollars worth of zip ties to put that car back together.
It really doesn't look bad. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't think it really, by the time I got over there about 30 minutes after the race, I didn't see any mark on that thing, so it was pretty robust. But here's Zach Mortimer and Piero Pucci, who's in his first weekend running in that red Scion FRS.
They actually just threw, well, they fixed the radiator on that. He took a rock in the first race, and so they JB welded it. So it's great to see that holding up. I want to make sure that it makes it throughout the entire race, but it doesn't look like it's caused him any hesitation.
Yeah, about a car length between them, and then just behind there, that is Dakota Pionic in the car we call Binny. It's ASM's name for it because it's a part spin special from ASM, and honestly, the parts they have in their trash can are probably better than most of the parts you'll find on shelves elsewhere in North America. And then Joe Tulo in the E30 BMW, and then Jim Smith. We didn't see him drop down the order, but he's 18th now, so that's...
I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, he was up inside the top 10. Nope, Andy Smedegaard took the best lap of the race, but he's also lost 7/10 of a second.
A lot of back and forth, a lot of accordion stuff going on with those two.
Yeah, only by 18 thousandths did he take that best lap, though.
Back down to 32s, though.
Really solid laps there. Dakota Pionic. Not a lot of aero on this car either. I'm actually impressed it does as well as it does.
Yeah, he must be feeling that. Making a move up on Piero now.
On the outside. Piero not keeping it nice and tight there. This first sector is really tight to race door to door like this. You have to compromise so much. Love this car. This is Zach Mortimer's BMW 3 Series. It has a real kind of DTM look to it. And harkening back to days of old touring car. I'm a big fan.
Super strong looking car. Makes it look really wide, like it's going to be very difficult to pass. You know, it's about 2 cars wide compared to some of the others we see.
Great fights. This is deeper in the field for about 13th spot at the moment.
Piero's got a good run through 6. See if you can capitalize on this and maybe do some late braking into 8.
Yeah, he's a little more curbing than Zach Mortimer ahead of him. Opens the door here.
It's looking good.
Bit of a lunge on the brakes, and he's going to go up the inside. Can he keep it tight down there? He does. Great, fair, clean racing between these two. And again, for Piero, first weekend here in Eibach GLTC, there's a lot of eyeballs on you, so he's doing everything he needs to do to make sure that he can stick around with us. The expectation in Eibach GLTC is perfection. You don't get a mulligan. If you start making mistakes and running into people, again, you get an invitation to exit. It's so important to treat your competitors with respect and make sure we load these things on the trailer exactly the way that they came off.
That situation right there is what we were talking about earlier. Piero went for the move, and in reality, he might have been able to make it. It would have been a tough squeeze, absolutely, and they raced fair, but because he committed to that move, it compromised his exit a little bit, and it looks like Dakota was able to capitalize.
Yeah, Pionic is actually going to have a run here on Mortimer down the front stretch.
Whoa, look how fast he is in a straight line on that.
Yeah, he's, again, without the aero on that car, and that will allow that car to be a little bit more slippery. That EK Honda Civic hunting for spots there. Tough to keep the inside. Mortimer leaves about a half a lane there. Dakota's going to get ahead of them in the steering, jump the curb, but I don't think he's going to have enough to get to him by turn 4. Here comes Jim Smith now in the 130S 2000.
I wonder if something's wrong with Piero's car, if he's overheating, because he's falling back quite a bit here.
Yeah, struggling a little now. But look at Jim Smith up the inside of Pionic, blocking up that left rear wheel. I'd actually heard from Tom O'Gorman, who tested this car at Lime Rock Park, that this car does not have ABS, so locking that inside rear is very common. Hard to keep tires on those things.
It's a big challenge. There's things even outside of the ABS that I hear that, or outside of just locking up the brakes. The way that the wheels come down off the curbs can be a big issue here. You got to be a real wheel man, and you got to be real gutsy if you're going deep. This is a good move.
Yeah, Jim Smith on the outside here of turn 9. Ooh, a little bit wide. And he can't keep the overlap here. But look at all the diversity in cars between these three.
This is awesome.
Very different ways. Pucci on the curbing there in the background. Catil crosses the line, still growing that gap to the lead. So we're going to stay focused on this fight. Under 5 minutes to go now as Jake Jornstad pulls even. Look at Jim Smith on the inside. And Pagano got around Mortimer on that straightaway too.
He did. Like you said, that car's slippery. It looks like, I mean, it's got to be tough to stay with these guys in the corners, but if he can, the reward is on the straights for him.
And Jornstad passed Piero Pucci, so to your point, I think that car, maybe that radiator not holding as much as they were hoping with the JB weld on it. Here comes Jim Smith now at the inside of Mortimer, this time into turn 1.
Clear overlap here.
And I'll bet that he must have looped it somewhere and fell back to 18th place.
Car looks okay.
Yeah, he's got a donut on the side there, but I think that's a couple events old. So.
Yeah.
Up the straight towards turn 4. This battle's fizzled a little bit. Blake Korth in the background of that Porsche Cayman. Started towards the tail of the field. Michael Pagano, by the way, off track. I think that misfire was problematic. And then Eric Jensen also off course. And back to third place because Matan Rosenberg, a little pressure mounting from the 17 car.
Man, this is like race 1 where we were seeing these two going at it. Matan taking a defensive line to begin with.
And again, Tony driving a car that won a whole bunch of races in the hands of Luke McGrew. And Tony has found a lot of success with it. Had to repair it after an incident at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course a couple of months ago. So we saw him sell all of his tickets and purchase some back because he's fit and ready to go back into battle.
Gotta love the dedication that comes to this. I mean, we're racers. We're kind of off our rocker to quite an extent, but I love seeing these guys pull this together.
Matan a little sideways there, chasing his car a little bit, and you know, one of the challenges with these heavier cars. Oh, trouble for Matt Waldbaum, and that looks like a motor potentially for the number 90, and he'll pull off course. That will probably bring out a yellow in sector number 2.
Wonder if he can get off to a safe spot or if the yellow's going to come out.
It's going to be tough. We're running out of laps here, but that is heartbreak for Matt Waldbaum. I don't know what it is about Autobahn Country Club. It has not been nice to those ASM K24s, has it?
No.
Go back a couple of years to Tom O'Gorman having a motor expire that famously changed that engine in under 2 hours and made the next race.
Well, you know, part of it might just be there's so many ASM cars out there in general that if something goes wrong, you notice it, right?
Yeah.
And you got 15 cars in the field.
Well, he did a really nice job pulling off to the inside, so he might be able to keep that green. Those guys are racing down there. I didn't see a yellow, so maybe we're okay.
That's a pretty safe spot. You know, all the momentum is on the outside of that corner. It'd be really funky to see anybody go inside there and have a problem. So.
Here comes Marchev at the outside of Rosenberg. Battle for third place here. Marchev going to try to get ahead of him in the steering. Not quite that time.
Matan, some good defensive driving there. Kind of parked it at the apex so that Tony couldn't use his momentum to pull around.
Nope, also that will start race 3 based on fastest lap from race 2. So that's something to consider here at the end of the race as well. Across the stripe here, battle for third is on with under 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, nobody told Tony that it's going to be about lap time. He's racing for position.
I see a white flag out there as well, so we should be on the final lap of this race.
Still have a yellow in sector 2 though, so you can't make your move here. Honestly, that's probably pretty typical. We don't see a lot of passes or pass attempts through turn 4 or 5 anyway.
Yeah, see if the 17 can find an advantage over the 484 at the very end of this thing. There's Eric Catil all out there by himself. 2 seconds clear of Andy Smedegaard and doing exactly what he needs to do to reel in Rosenberg in the title fight. Thirds aren't going to do it for Matan if Eric wins the next handful of races. And the other thing to consider is if Catil were to win the third race, it's very hard not to win the weekend after you win 3 of the 4. So that puts him well ahead to earn that first place trophy.
Yep, and as long as he's got that purple lap up there, right, he's going to be in the same position for race 3.
Exactly, that's critical. And
oh no, a wheel.
That's Richard Sawicki. Left rear wheel comes off. That's going to be yellow in sector 3 right at the end of the race.
Front.
Well, that's not good.
I wonder if he tried to eat a lot of that inside curb at 11, and maybe that put too much stress on it.
Checkered flag. Eric Catil wins race 2 of Eibach GLTC, and critically, look at this. This is your fastest lap sort. This will be your grid for the third race of the weekend. Catil, Smedegaard, Marchev, Rosenberg, and critically, Matt Waldbaum. I'm not saying that they're going to try to do it, but they have overnight. If they put a new engine in that car, Matt Waldbaum can start 5th.
I can't wait. I hope to see they do it. Also, this is not the place that you really want to be on the track. Everybody's checked up, good heads-up driving, keeping it safe, but that's a real bummer of a spot.
Yeah, Blake Korth also on the lap times, 9th place. It's not where he finished the race, but it will be where he will start tomorrow.
Good for him. Top 10 in GLTC.
Yeah, and well, that's for the grid for tomorrow.
Yep.
And again, with the sort order shifted here based on lap time. Jim Smith also critically didn't get the result he wanted, but he'll start 10th tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think something happened to his race, and he did a really good job pulling it back together, and so now he has a chance for some retribution in the next race.
Hiro Pucci, 18th, will be on the grid for tomorrow. And we should get this shuffled back also to race order here just at the end. See how things finished out before we go to results. There you go. So top 10 for Julio Crispin, Zach Lavoie 9th. This is your race finish order.
Dye went up in 11th. Is that one of his better finishes?
I think so. It might be his best. But let's have a look here at results for race number 2 for Eibach GLTC. Eric Catil, second race in a row. Then Andy Smedegaard, second place again. Matan Rosenberg, Tony Marchev, and Lena Chin, top 5. Then Ayrton Grimm, 6th place. Nice result there. Chatrup, Shukla, Lavoie, and Crispin, your top 10. Great result for Julio. And then you mentioned Dai Win in 11th place. And for James Smith, a nice recovery after dropping down to 18th early on.
Lou Chatrup being up in 7th position. That's a really good result for him as well. He's going to be proud of that one.
Yeah, top 20s for Robbie Veerhout and Matt Beck as well, as we look down to the last page of runners. And Rory Lonergan, Matt Waldbaum with that engine, we think, expiring there. That's what it looked like on that Honda S2000. Maybe they'll try to put a new motor in it before tomorrow. We will see. That's not out of ASM's plan, I would say. Richard Sawicki, 23rd. Eric Jensen, 24th. Michael Pagano did not finish the race. Neither did Jensen in 24th place there. There's Richard Sawicki. Wheel off the left front. And that is going to be expensive to sort that out. Let's have a look at the highlights here from Eibach GLTC race number 2. And race 2 of the weekend for Eibach GLTC started with a clear start in race 1, side by side with Catil and Andy Smedegaard as the 212 tried to wrest the lead away from the Hybrid Racing EG. He couldn't get there though, and Eric began to pull away. So while they fought for position for a couple laps, Matan Rosenberg tried to keep them in sight, but eventually they just accordioned away from each other. Elsewhere in the field, though, battles inside the top 20 between Robbie Veerhout, Jake Jorenstein, recovering from a race 1 incident, and then this fight. This stole the star of the show. The 5'10" of Hiro Pucci, Dakota Pjanic, and Zach Mortimer, Mike, having a blast.
That was a lot of fun to watch. I'm glad to see that you can have those kind of battles in the middle of the pack as well.
Eric Catil wins race 2 here in GRIDLIFE Eibach Touring Cup. Congratulations to Eric Catil for getting the job done here in race number 2.